Hello, family. I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. But I recognize that not everybody has a Valentine's with them today. Maybe because you're not dating anyone, maybe because you're not married. Uh, there are a lot of lonely married people too. And so I want to encourage you with a testimony. Back in 2017, when I was sick, I had gotten to a point where I had hyperthyroidism, went to several doctors, had pains in my body, had put my back out. I was a mess. And I could not understand why the Lord was allowing me to be treated this way. And I had really gotten to a point where I was ready to leave my faith. I was having a faith crisis, and I had never really heard the terminology faith crisis before, but I realized that that is what I was having. Talked to my mother, and I'm so blessed at the time she was here to tell me that she had had a faith crisis before. Began to Google things and see that having a faith crisis was almost part of this walk, this journey with the Lord. And I thought, well, oh my goodness, I was definitely having one, and I couldn't understand why He was allowing me to suffer the way I was suffering. And I really recognized later I had this spirit of entitlement where I felt like, you know what, I get suffering, but this is a bit much. And so I just didn't see why I was having to go through what I was going through. And I had told him later, I thought he was being really harsh with me. And I had come to the point where I was just ready to walk away. I was done. I was just done with the Lord, and I had just kind of decided, and I struggled with that. I struggled. But I remember coming to a conclusion one day where I was like, you know what, I can't do this. I just can't do this. This isn't fair. And I'm ready to walk away. And I'll never forget, we were in our apartment at the time because we thought we were going to lose our home too, whereby I heard in my heart this voice, this most angelic voice that said, please don't leave me. And I'm like, y'all, let me tell you, this was the most beautiful voice I'd ever heard. It sounded angelic, it sounded tender, it sounded gentle. This voice sounded soft. This voice spoke soft to me. I needed some softness right then and there. I needed some tenderness. And I heard, please don't leave me. Now I'm thinking, this is the Lord. Why would he even ask me? Why would he even go so far to say, please don't leave me to me? And y'all, when I heard that voice, it changed everything. It changed everything. At that point in time, I made up my mind, okay, I don't know what our future is going to look like together, but I can't leave. I couldn't leave him. And so that started me on this journey. It was, we're having this love affair. And my son said, Mama, don't use the word affair. That doesn't sound good with the Lord. So I call it a rendezvous. But all along that journey, on our rendezvous, as we've been having it over the course of these many years together, especially since 2017, which was a year that shook me to my core, we went on a date. I sensed that the Lord wanted to go on a date. It was as if He was willing to court me, because I've said it in some videos before. I felt like I had begun to have spiritual amnesia. I forgot who He was. I forgot His character. I forgot His quality. I had almost left Him because I didn't even believe that He existed. I struggled with that. And I would keep telling myself, well, I know love is real. So if love is real, then God is real, because God is love. But He was so gentle over the course of that time to just take baby steps with me. And so, like I said, over the course of time, one day, I sensed the Lord wanted to go on a date. And so I said, okay. I got dressed up, y'all, did my hair and everything. And I wasn't feeling really good about myself at the time, to be honest, because hyperthyroidism with mine, I lost so much weight. And I just became this little thin woman. And I wasn't happy with my appearance. I wasn't happy about anything about myself. And so, surprisingly, for him to want to take me on a date, he had even downloaded in my spirit, in my mind, that since I'd lost so much weight and I was so thin, that I was thin like a model, and that maybe I could model. I was like, yeah, right. Well, on that date, I asked him as I'm driving, okay, Lord, where do you want us to go? And he put in my spirit, museum. Now, he knows I love the museums. And this is way pre-COVID days, y'all, so I could go to a museum then. And so we went to the museum, and I mentioned this in another testimony. I met two ladies there. One wanted out of the picture to take out of the blue, wanted to take my picture. I'm like, I'm looking like this. Now, I dressed up for the Lord. I got as good looking as I thought I could for him. But for her to want to take my picture just was like, wow, okay, blew me away. And then her friend, I went on to tell her part of my testimony, and she said, oh my goodness, we were just sitting here talking about how you should be a model. And I'm like, hold up. And so to God be the glory, now I do model, and I started modeling at 50. But we went on with the date. That was confirmation for me. He was slowly starting to show me and prove to me that, number one, he was with me. Number one, he was real. Number two, he was with me. And that he loved me. And so I got in the car. I still wasn't fully convinced by then, y'all. We've been on this long journey for a while now. It's 2021. And this really kind of started in 2017. Now, I had grown up knowing the Lord. Loved the Lord as a little girl. But like I said, 2017 shook me to my core. And so as we leave the museum, I get in the car and I'm like, okay, I want a cupcake. I want a chocolate cupcake. Y'all, I love chocolate. And so I didn't know where I was going, where I was driving to. We got to the museum, used my little GPS, but I didn't know if there was any cupcakes or, anywhere in the area where I could get a chocolate cupcake. But I sensed the Spirit just say drive. So I did. I drove. And I kept driving, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. But I wasn't lost. Because eventually I got to a place that I recognized. I used to take my son out to this area where I homeschool, when I homeschooled him to take some homeschool classes, and I began to recognize the area. And I sensed, wait a minute, there's a bakery over here. And so I find the bakery. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's the bakery. I pull into the bakery, get out, and there are two ladies coming out of the bakery. And I said, excuse me, is this place where I can find a cupcake? And they said, oh, honey, yes, you can find cupcakes, donuts, cookies. They got a little bit of everything in there. So I go inside, and I found my cupcakes. I bought what I wanted, and I told the cashier some of my testimony of what I'm telling you. And she looked at me. Now, y'all thought she was going to think I was crazy. But she looked at me and she said, well, isn't it interesting that the Lord would bring you to a church to get your cupcake? I'm like, church? She said, yes, look behind you. So I looked around, and there were pews behind me. She said, this was a church that's been renovated and is now a bakery. And the Lord has brought you to a renovated church to come and get your cupcake. I was like, what? The Lord has brought me to a renovated church on our date to get my chocolate cupcake. So y'all, I just wanted to tell you, He's so good, and He's done things like that over the course of these last 5 years now to just show me over and over again how good he is. His qualities, his characters, he's so loving. And my faith has been built back up. And it's way stronger than it was then. And I bless him for it. That he was so patient with me. Just to take the time out to take me on a date. So I've only met one other person who's told me that they've gone on dates with the Lord. If you have not dated our Lord on this Valentine's Day, I want to encourage you that that is the best date you will ever have. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're single. Go on a date when you get a chance with the Lord. It will be time well spent, beloved. In fact, there might even be some surprises along the way for you. Just like I was surprised as to where he led me to get my cupcake. So I want to say happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. And I hope that this has encouraged somebody today. Listen, you may not have a physical, tangible person with you, but you are not alone. Enjoy your date with the Lord in the future. Have a good time with him. All right. I hope I've used my words well. Until next time, beloved. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.